Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dr. Suraj Kumar Singh, Center Head, Center for Climate Change and Water Research. Today, I am here to present a webinar on GIS Science Changing the World. That is a question answer session. Good afternoon. This is Dr. Suraj Kumar Singh, Center Head, Center for Sustainable Development. I'll be presenting a webinar on GIS Science Changing the World. That is a question answer round where all the questions and answers will be answered. So here we are talking about GIS science. So we are talking about what are the things that we are going to study in GIS science. GIS science comprises of remote sensing, GIS, cartography, GPS, photogrammetry, and database management system. So what does remote sensing be? So whenever a student take admission in our courses, we teach the students the basics of remote sensing. Remote sensing comprises of active sensor and passive sensors. We teach the students the basics of satellite characteristics, spatial characteristics, radiometric characteristics, temporal characteristics. So here we deal with all the space mission related to active sensor, passive sensor, microwave sensor, hyperspectral sensor, sonar, lidar. So all the technology are taken into consideration and the students are trained in those technology. In GIS, we train the students about the geographical data, whether it is related to topological analysis, proximity analysis, spatial analysis, non-spatial and spatial data modeling. All the things are being taught in GIS, where we teach the students the different kinds of GIS software, whether that is a open source softwares or a proprietary software. So the most common softwares that we teach our students are ISRI ArcGIS softwares and QGIS is the open source softwares. Apart from that, we teach the students the basic of cartography. Cartography is the science of making maps. So we teach the students the different kinds of projection systems, scales, map making, what are the different parameters, the essentials that are required to make a map. Apart from that, we teach the students the basics of GPS technology, global positioning system, where we teach the students how to take the data, what are the different kinds of data available, how to convert those field data into map data and project yourself into a map. All those parameters are taken into consideration, and we teach the students the basics and positioning systems. Apart from that, we teach the students the basics of photogrammetry. Photogrammetry is a art of measurement from taking from a map. Here we take 3D modeling of the satellite data, and we do different kind of terrain analysis for the topographical missions. Apart from that, we teach the students the different kinds of programming language, that is C, C++, Visual Basics, Java, Python, because they are the most essential things that are required for any kind of modeling, because this era is an era of GI. So we are living in an era of GI, but we don't recognize it. The thing is ki it's underrated. Now I'll be making you understand ki how we are using this technology in our day-to-day life, but we are ignorant. So I'll start off with a recent development that we have with our enemy countries like China, Pakistan. So if you see the terrain, they are inaccessible. You see, if you want to see the characteristics what the Chinese are doing or what the Pakistanis are doing, we cannot go, we cannot see. So the only thing that can see and that is beyond the political boundary is a satellite. So satellite provide you each and every information related to our enemy countries. So recently there was a war like condition in with China. So there the daily data, what kind of terrain mapping was required. So satellite data depends on what kind of satellite data you're taking. So on the basis of this, you will be seeing ki the victory and the defeat lies ki how better you're mapping, analyzing the satellite based data sets. So recently you have seen that in the television that each and every television is coming and saying that they have acquired 8 kilometers. Somebody is saying 4 kilometers. Yesterday it was 500 meters. So how you are knowing that they have acquired? You cannot go physically. So the only thing that can go physically and have the each and every basic details ki over the date and time, what kind of strategic planning they are doing, we have to also plan. So for any kind of planning, you need maps, because all the military persons who are there in Leh Ladakh are from different terrain. Somebody is from Punjab, somebody is from Kerala, somebody is from Jharkhand, somebody is from Rajasthan. So they don't know about the terrain, where we are, where the enemy are, where are their strategic location, and we need 100% accuracy in those locations. For that, the satellite data in coordination and in association and collaboration with GIS and GPS technology provide you the accurate location of our enemy. So recently there was also attack, Uri attack, where we find out the exact hideouts of Pakistanis. So all those kind of analysis are being done using satellite space-borne technology, where we are using drone data, we are using UAVs to map the hideouts, where what are they are planning. Because in case we have a war, you have to plan before. You cannot have. So when I was associated with DTRL, DRDO, all the maps are being prepared by government of India, so that in case we are a war, so what are the locations through which our artillery will be moving, what are the shortest mean through which our different tanks will be moving. So such kind of analysis and performance is the capacity of remote sensing and GIS data, and that is of great help. And for all the navigation satellite system, where there is a aircraft, where you talk about missiles, the geographical latitude longitude is the key coordinates, where you have to identify those coordinates on the field and on the ground, and the same has to be identified on the map. So each and every temporal data that the satellite images provides gives us you the 100% accuracy of those data sets. So that is the application what I have talked about in defense. Now I'll be talking about its application in disaster management. So you can see that in each and every year, the Indian terrain or the Indian country is having multi disasters like floods, droughts, landslides, cyclones. So how this remote sensing and just satellite data can help you? Because of its synoptic overview and coverage, you can have a pre-data analysis and a post-data flood images. So if you are taking a pre-data and a post-data flood images, you can identify the area which are under flood affected. And if you have identified the flood affected area, you can identify the different settlements which are flood inundated. So in case of some emergency response, you can have the exact location, and the military and the different NDRF team can be taken into consideration, and we can save life. Apart from that, we can do different kind of damage assessment, like crop damage assessment, utility damages assessment, because when there is a flood, the entire area is been detached from the mainland. So the only thing which can provide a real time scenario, what is the change analysis. We have got different kinds of simulation models, where we can predict in what number of days this flood will expand and how it will contract. So such kind of analysis can be done using satellite remote sensing. Apart from this, government of India has made compulsory the crop insurance. Now how to do this crop insurance? Now each and every farmer comes, whether his field is affected by flood or not, he comes for compensation amount. So how will be the government be identifying whether his area is under flood or not? So satellite image provides you the real time information ki what is the area, which are the lands which are submerged in water, and those land records are being digitized and put into digital records. Generally in past times, we used to have to go to Patwari to have the information related to your land records and land acquisition, but now the entire thing is on web. So you can connect those information into web, and the, for example, if government has given 1,000 rupees per square kilometer to X fellow, and if his land 500 square kilometer has destroyed, so the same amount can be directly transferred into his account. So the corruption can also be reduced if you are doing digitally. So satellite data provides you the real time information, because this satellite data, we are using microwave satellite data during monsoon period, because that has the capacity of penetration of rain droplets, and that provides you the real scenario, so you can have a real time analysis. Apart from this, nowadays you are seeing that various disasters like cyclone is hitting various coastal parts of India. So you're seeing that and NIDM, National Institute of Disaster Management, and various NDMA are providing you before that incident took place, before 5 days, you are coming up that this cyclone is going to hit in X and Y date with this much of time, and this area is likely to be affected. So how they came to know that this cyclone is going to be there? So that is with the use of geostationary satellites. We are using Kalpana satellites, INSAT satellites for various kinds of weather forecasting that you see in daily televisions, and you can predict, and that helps you in saving lives, because you cannot stop a disaster, but a technology like remote sensing help you to save life, and that is the biggest advantage for preparedness plans. Apart from this, this data, remote sensing data, is used for different kinds of earthquake modeling, drought modeling. So all kind of this disasters can be easily mapped and modeled using remote sensing and data. Apart from this, you are seeing that each and every year the climate, each and everyone is talking about the climate is changing. So how would you know ki the climate is changing? So remote sensing and GIS satellite imageries in association with different secondary data helps you to identify and map different climatic models ki over the year, where the our temperature is increasing or decreasing. How you will identify? So this provides connects with your geographical location and provides you the information related to precipitation, temperature, wind speed, each and every parameters related to topological and topographical analysis. Apart from this, this technology is widely used in water resource management like slow and glacier studies. Now, each and every one knows about glaciers. Now, each and everyone talks about Siachen Glacier. Now, I'll give a task. Please give me the area. What is the area of Siachen Glaciers? Nobody can do that. You cannot physically go there. It is an inaccessible terrain. So over the years, whether the glaciers are increasing, decreasing, how would you analyze? So satellite data provides you the data. We have got the series of satellites that are available with us from 1970 onwards. We have got the chain. Each and every day we have got the satellite data. All weather data sets are available. And prior to 1970, we have got 1950 topographical sheets surveyed by Survey of India, and prior to that we have got Army Map Services 1925 by US Army. So from 1925 till date we have got different historical maps. We use those maps and we update those maps using recent satellite data to come up whether the glaciers what we are talking about is increasing, what is the position of snot. So all such kind of retreat analysis is being done using satellite remote sensing. Apart from this, we have got different indices, like we have got normalized different snow index, then we have got glaciers index, where we can differentiate between the snow area and glacier area. That is quite tough, but satellite data helps you in identifying those studies. Apart from this, we can do various kinds of salinity analysis, which are the area in UP, Rajasthan, Haryana, the which are likely to be under salt affected land. So those kind of soil salinity lands can be easily identified using satellite remote sensing data, where we use these data sets for different kinds of biodiversity conservation, wetland mapping techniques. Apart from this, we use this data sets for mapping the different groundwater prospect mapping and watershed management analysis. Now, how we use, because all the river systems which originates in the Himalaya are the river systems that originates from China and Nepal. So nobody can go to those terrains and cannot see. But the satellite data provides you the synoptic overview, where the large river system of the rivers can be made identified. So we use this data sets for mapping the different river systems of India, then demarcating it and into basins, catchments, subcatchments, watershed, micro watershed. So we identify each and every first order, second order, third order stream for doing different kinds of drainage morphometric analysis, and we use different parameters like slope, stability, temperature, precipitation, water table, soil, land use, land cover characteristics, and we come up with the areas where we can you go for various kinds of artificial suitable sites, where you can go for groundwater conservation sites. Apart from this data sets also help you in different kinds of rehabilitation program. Like if you are going to construct a new hydropower in Jammu Kashmir or Himachal, so the compensation amount has to be done, a DPR study has to be done. So before doing any kind of major project, we analyze ki what are the area that are going to be affected by such kind of construction that the government is trying to do, and which are the sites where you can rehabilitate, and what is the compensation amount that has to be paid to each and every individual, can be directly linked with its Aadhaar and can be transferred into his account. So it's help also in rehabilitation program. Environmental impact assessment can be done. Apart from that, large area is covered with forest. Now each and every portion, like human beings have got different color, different shape, different faces. In the same way, each and every object on the earth, when we see on a satellite, has got a different signatures, like forest, agriculture, wastelands, different kinds of forests. They have got different leaf structures. So those chlorophyll are taken into consideration, and different electromagnetic spectrums are taken, and we identify those spectra, and we identify the different kinds of species delineation using satellite remote sensing. Apart from that, we can also see and analyze and evaluate whether our forest resource is increasing or decreasing. Now if you see that for FSI and FRI, all the maps that has been prepared by Forest Research Institute and Forest Survey of India, they use remote sensing GIS data for mapping those maps, because all the forest what we are talking about, whether that is into Sikkim, Himachal, Jammu and Kashmir, are inaccessible. So you cannot go. So in order to have the real time information whether there is some kind of encroachment going on, or whether you have got some kind of forest fire that is likely to happen, so how would you go to know? So remote sensing and GIS technology you provides you whether the area that is decreasing in forest cover has converted itself into a settlement, or whether that has been converted into agricultural land, or whether there is any kind of pest infection. So such kind of conversion analysis can be done, and we can see what are the area that has been converted, and we can go for different kind of afforestation program. Apart from this, the government of India has made remote sensing data a compulsory data for all kind of fossil insurance, crop insurance, and we use this data for crop monitoring and condition assessment, crop stress delineation, crop yield estimation, damage assessment. Earlier, I have told you then what, like each and every forest, each and every crop has got different spectral response in various bands. We identify those spectral response, and we know what is the spectral response of a healthy vegetation. In case there is called some unhealthy vegetation, there is some pest infection, its response decreases. So we identify those responses and patterns, and we can identify the area and what kind of pest infection it has happened in that area can be easily delineated. Apart from that, this GIS and remote sensing technique is the best technique that is used by government of India. You can search National Center for Geoinformatics the government of India has established for Digital India and Smart India, for all kind of e-governance program related to natural resource management. Remote sensing and GIS technique is being used, whether that is used for any kind of management and mitigation measures. Apart from this, we are using this technique for road network analysis. The best example is Uber and Ola. You book a Uber and you Ola, you get a fare. So have you thought how does it happen? So there, the GIS technology, the new shortest mean network, the neural networks are taken into consideration from your original location to your destination, and that amount is calculated. So such kind of analysis is used for road network analysis. DPR is preferred, a surveying is done, because if you want to open up with no more number of no roads, so how will you do? For that, you need to have a terrain analysis. So this provide you hydrological inventory you can do. Apart from this, nowadays you're thinking that you're a lot of human and animal conflict is going on. Whether I'm from Jharkhand, each and every year you've got a conflict between elephants and this humans. And if you go in Rajasthan, you will have leopard and humans. So why it has happened? Because we have changed the entire ecosystem and forest, so that leads to such conditions. So using GPS technology, we identify the suitable sites, ki what are the reasons behind this kind of habitat corridor mapping has been done, then why the encroachment is taken into consideration, and then we do different kinds of conflict management, and uh, recording is done. Apart from this, remote sensing data is also being used for electrification studies. Like recently, there was a satellite data shown by government, recent government, saying that the electrification has increased if you compare with the other government. So how did it happen? We use the thermal remote sensing data for identifying of those kind of studies where you can highlight ki what was the change, what it was in 2010, what is in 2020, and we can have different kind of models where you can predict ki what is likely to happen in 2030. So using this remote sensing and data, you can have different kinds of tourist information system. You can identify the suitable sites where you can go for solid waste management, you can go for business park, smart ports. So all this information you can see a wide number of analysis being done using this satellite remote sensing. Apart from this, our recent research that our group has done is related to GIS in health sector. Now, when this COVID started, we, the faculty members and the scholar, thought ki, as an individual, we must do something for the society. The biggest advantage for pursuing this course is it's give you enormous opportunity of research. You can have your name and fame. Previously, when I was a student, nobody knew, but after 10 years, if you type my name, you will get a good number of papers, books against my name, and entire team who is connected with Suresh Gyan Vihar University Center for Sustainable Development and Climate Change. So we are very good in research. So we have taken that project and we came up with different kinds of you. Each and every person nowadays are very familiar with the term green zone, blue zone, red zone. So have you thought how that this donation came into consideration? So that is because of GIS. GIS provides you the technique where you can go up to what level, which are the areas where you are have, which are most likely to happen in case of COVID. The risk is high, the hazards are high, the vulnerability is high. So all kinds of hazard, vulnerability, and terrain analysis can be done using satellite remote sensing data. So our group took those parameters into consideration and we came up with a publication. So if you type remote sensing and GIS and COVID-19, I assure you that nobody else in the world has got any publication related to remote sensing and GIS technique that Suresh Gyan Vihar University has. So I can proudly say that our research team are the pioneer team in India who has taken GIS technology for the saving of mankind and providing a real-time information where the government of India in collaboration with ICMR is using this technique for the saving of life, because right now we don't have any medicine. So the only thing through which you can save yourself is through technology, and GIS provide you that confidence and that smartness through which you can protect yourself. Apart from that, government of India also says used to download Android app called uh, Android app, uh, uh, Atma, Arogya Setu, sorry, Arogya Setu. So here in Arogya Setu, we are using contact tracing. So how does that contact tracing does? So that happens using GIS and GPS technology. You are connected, each and every SIM has got a connection and that is geolocated. So in case you are found as COVID-19 positive patient, the entire persons who were in and around located to your geolocation will get an automated message for isolation and self-contact. In the same way, this technology is used for various kinds of criminal cases. So recently there is a incident where a gangster from UP has killed a large number of police personals, and he has ran away maybe in Nepal or Chambal. So if you want to have some kind of uh, attack, or you want to catch that fellow, you will be needing GPS technology, because you cannot go into the field and locate yourself. So when you are going for Chambal area, you need GPS. Without GPS, you will be lost in the terrain, and that is a big terrain. So that's why this technology is not only used for this natural resource management, it is also used for taxation. Delhi government has made compulsory uh, GIS technology for taxation. What the people were doing is they stored constructed 5 to 10 stored building, and they were paying tax of only 2 stores. So using satellite remote sensing, we identified all those structures, and we have sent, the government has sent the letters to those persons ki please pay the proper taxes. They were hiding those taxes. So that kind of analysis can be done using satellite remote sensing. Apart from this, you are seeing that each and every 10 years you are having a census data. So those census data are being recorded. Those secondary data are being recorded with a GPS technique, and using that GPS technique, all the data are being located and relocated and connected with the block boundary, panchayat boundary. So you can see a map representing what are the STSC population, what is the OBC population, what is the number of males, females, total cultivators, marginal numbers. If I want to see in any of the panchayats, any of the blocks, cities, countries, I can have using satellite remote sensing, because here we tube GI. GI means X and Y we take. If we go any kind of database management system, if we go with the name, if I type name Ranchi, if the Ranchi can have a place name in Karnataka, it can have in Pakistan, it can have in Chennai. But if I type my exact X and Y where I am standard, it won't be similar for any part of the country. So we take those unique ID, just like a Aadhaar ID is unique. In the same way, we take GI, the geographical indicator, that is a special location that provides you unique ID, and all the secondary data. You go on adding the data sets with the GI, and you can have a map of that area. And map is the clear representation of the entire land use, land cover characteristic, what has happened over the decade, and what are the things that are likely to happen in near future. We can easily do. Apart from that, we can use this subjects for urban information system. I was a part of a team member which and was associated with ISRO sponsored project, where we made the entire wasteland atlas of India. I was a part who made the Bihar atlas of 2010, and national information system of Dharmashala, Allahabad, Patna, Bhagalpur, Munger. So thus all the say data sets, all the urban master plans today, all the urban department use this satellite remote sensing data ki what is the core area, what is the outer core area. So you have to identify the outer core areas, you have to see the estimation ki where is the sites where you can go for different kinds of land use, land cover planning. For example, if you go for talk about a smart city, you cannot think about without the use of this remote sensing and technology. If you see Rajasthan, if you see Chandigarh, they are the smart city of India, and you compare itself with the other cities which are the old cities like Patna, Banaras, and the other cities. They are very congested. And so, what the government want? Government want to set up more number of smart city where you can have the real time locations of hospitals, blocks, boundaries, then different schools, colleges. What used to happen generally in UP and Bihar, the persons who were elected are very strong enough families and MP, and they construct their own maximum number of schools, colleges into a particular blocks and panchayat. But when you see convert those maps into spatial domain, so you can identify a part of a team where we map did such kind of studies. So we provided those information system to the education department of government of Jharkhand, where a differentiation or discrimination can be seen in particular area. All the area was restricted to a particular block, and the number of persons on the students used to come from 100 kilometers, 50 kilometers to a particular college. So there was a self-centric development into a particular area. So this subject you provides you the decision support system where you can go think about a smart city. You can think about where are the solid waste management site, water conservation, hydropower, green buildings. All the things can be taken into consideration for any kinds of criminal analysis, site suitability, demographic, topographic analysis, resource mapping, any kind of resource like mineral resource. Many of the resources that we have explored is insufficient if we are talking about sustainable development. So now what we have to do, the biggest challenge is we have to identify more number of resources which are hidden beneath the earth. Now, how to identify those resources? They are hidden beneath maybe soil, beneath the forest. So, remote sensing and GIS technology provide you different indicators, anomalies, where we take those anomalies into consideration for identifying the new mineral resources, whether that is coal resource or any resource that you are talking about. So, what kind of damage that we are doing while taking out or extracting any kind of coal or marble in Rajasthan. So all kind of environmental damage assessment, the DPR reports has to be done for this mineral exploration or marble exploration. So all the things, what the changes or the damage or what has to be done to restore the entire ecosystem. The entire solutions has with GIS and remote sensing technique because it sees the data geographically. So if we talk about the major projects of India, whether that is Ganga rejuvenation, glacier studies, or environmental, you type on our internet, none of the department is left. Each and every department is using this technology for the preparations of the mega project for better India, digital India, and smart India. So if you train yourself in 1970s or 80s when there was an introduction of computer in India, there was a big Bharat Bandh called stating that the entire people will be unemployed. But for today, I am saying the coming era is all about the GI. GI means remote sensing, the GPS, the mobile handsets that you are using, the navigation that you use in your car system, the Ola, Uber, each and every system will be based. So the more sooner you learn this technique, the more sooner you learn this softwares, the more sooner you learn different kinds of simulation, modeling, Python, language, you are better equipped yourself with all the weapons for a better tomorrow. So these are the scope. Right now, I've given you the what are the basic principles, what are the scopes. Now I'll give a brief about my university, that is Suresh Gyan Vihar University. What are the different programs that we are offering? Why you should study in Suresh Gyan Vihar University? What are our different USPs? So I'll start up. My university is offering this subject from BTech to PhD program. Means from undergraduate till doctoral degree, we have got wide spectrum of degrees with expertise in this domain. With starting from plus two level, we are having BTech in geoinformatics. After graduate, you can do MSc geoinformatics. Post MSc BTech students can do MTech geoinformatics, and after doing MTech geoinformatics and PhD, you can go for higher studies and job. Now I'll go one by one. Why to do BTech geoinformatics? Now, if you compare yourself with plus two, many of the persons from UP Bihar, they are more inclined towards science domain. But if I talk about unemployment in India, the major unemployment is because we are unskilled, unprofessional. If we talk about, I'm from Jharkhand, a place Ranchi, and if there is an advertisement for any government jobs in Ranchi or Bihar or Jharkhand, you'll find the people going around to the cyber cafe because they cannot handle the software, they cannot handle the user interface. If right now, if I'm talking about you have to upload a photograph that is of 500 kb and you have to compress it and you have to upload into 100 kb, many of the persons who have got their master's degree don't know what I have told. So that is the kind of knowledge that we are providing to the student, that is insufficient, unrealistic in the real world. So now is the world that you must have some professional degree, so that in case you didn't have a government job like I didn't have, but I can sustain myself in the private world, in the private academics, in the IT sector, because here also we have got ample amount of opportunities. So I'll start off with plus two. So the persons who are targeting themselves for BSc program or a different geographical program, geological program, I would say to suggest them to please join in BTech Geoinformatics, because that is a career domain. You have seen ki what are the spectrum and the areas, because that is a technology that can be applied even in the medical sector that I have not explained. I'll explain how it has happened. So in case you are going for any kind of operations, you need to know the where it has to be operated, the exact X and Y. So the digital image processing, where we teach the students the different geometric, radiometric, the pre-processing, the different kinds of filters, classifications. So those kind of digital image processing techniques are being used in medical science also, and the students can take career PhD programs in medical institutions too. Apart from that, we have got our MSc program, MTech program, and PhD program. The biggest challenge that we have when we are offering our master's program is many of the institutions, the students are more inclined towards taking the certificate and diploma program. For me, I have got more than 12 or 13 years of experience in the field of geoinformatics, and on the basis of my experience and the future that I can see on my experience is ki I'll suggest ki nobody should pursue the diploma and certificate program, because that is a program for the working professionals who want to have some basic understanding about the subject. But if you're thinking to take that as a profession and to have a job, even I assure you that you will get a job after having a certificate or diploma job, but the salary structure, the promotions will be limited in nature. You will get 10 to 12,000 rupees and you won't be promoted. So at last, after 5 years or 10 years, you will again come to master's program and cannot take the higher studies, and you cannot have a increment or promotions in your company. So you will be bound to take again the master program. But meanwhile, the technology will increase, the competition will increase, and you'll be away from the studies. So that is a weird waste of money and time. The money is secondary, but 1 or 2 years or 3 years, what you have done using that PG based diploma, it will be of no use, because if you go for all kind of the advertisement that the government of India or the private sectors are coming up, they require minimum master's program in this geoinformatics subject. So a person who is taking a PG diploma is no use. Nobody recognizes the degree. That cannot be taken for any kind of JRF, SRF, or any kind of research opening. So for my suggestion will be for all the students who are planning to do any kind of certificates and diploma program, always try to do a master's program anywhere from India, but don't take, that is my suggestion. Now it comes to my university, why you should take this subject from my university, because the second thing is fees. When it comes to fees, each and every persons in India, if anybody is going for buying a car, nobody sees about its quality. Nobody, generally it's a general statement that I have given, nobody sees about build quality, nobody sees about the range. Each and everyone talks about what is the mileage. In the same way, whenever anybody takes an admission, he never sees the faculty, he never sees the syllabi, he never sees, he talks about the fees. So if you compare my university with the other premier institutes and university of India, you will see that the Gyan Vihar fees is very low, and we are kept our fees in comparison to that of the government institution. So it's parallel to them. Apart from that, why you should take admission in my university? Because we have got good number of faculties who are specialized in remote sensing and GIS discipline. Generally, if you take admission in many of the institutions, as very few institutions are offering this program in India, and you will see that the quality of faculty, I should not say, is limited in nature. You'll see one or two faculty maximum in any institution who is offering or who is taking the classes. So one person cannot teach the, it's a vast ocean of geoinformatics. You need specialists. So in my university, you'll find that you have got different specialists from the topmost institution of India, like IITs, NITs, Wadia Institute of Himalayan Geology, Birla Institute of Technology, Punjab University. Apart from that, we have got various visiting professors coming from IITs, NITs, central government institutions, forest informations, then IFS. They comes and teach the students for those topics where a more expertise is required from a real time expert. So we frame and we train our students in those techniques. Apart from that, our faculty members are very good in publication. You can go and type their name on the Google and you can find thousands of citations against their name. I doubt and I assure you that the what faculty what we have in India, no other institution has in current time. That 100% Google is there. You can search the publications what we have got publications in Springer, Taylor Francis, Science Direct, Elsevier. We have published books in Springer Link, Willy. They are the topmost publications house of the world. So we are very good in research. So a person who is thinking about a research career must opt our university for admissions in various masters and PhD program. Apart from that, we have got various collaborations with our students are being trained with NRSC. They do different kinds of training in Indian Space Research Organization. We have got a collaboration with IIRS, Indian Institute of Remote Sensing, where we provide EduSat based learnings where the students interact with various eminent scientists of the world, and the students get certification on latest technology, and they exchange their thoughts with the scientists, and we frame them with the real time expertise. Apart from that, we have got industrial mentors from the topmost institutions like from TCS, Wipro, Accenture. We have got the industrial mentors where they provide the mentorships to the students. Apart from that, we have got a good research lab with good instrumentation. Like we have got a stereoscope, total station, DGPS, GPS, automated water level finder, automated with the lever station, water testing kits, theodolite, Humpy level, print and compass. So we teach our students the advanced surveying. So a person generally you see that for any kind of admissions, if anybody is thinking for taking admissions in btech mechanical, mtech mechanical, a person is from btech mechanical, a person who wants to study in btech electronics must have mtech. For mtech electronics it must have btech electronics. But for my subjects, each and every person who has got BSc degree in sciences, BA geography, is eligible for MSc geoinformatics. All the plus two students with PCM, PCB is eligible for BTech Geoinformatics. All the engineers who have got engineering in any of the subjects, whether that is into energy resource, whether that into now, if anybody talks about how does a mechanical engineer do a BTech mechanical do AmTech in geoinformatics. Now the government of India is talking about this energy, solar energy, wind energy. So what are the sites? What are the potential solar illumination has to be calculated. Its location has to be calculation. Different kinds of modeling has to be done. So there, this mechanical engineer, if it is trained in the latest technique of remote sensing, the employability increases. In the same way, if a BTech electronics civil engineers, if he is targeting themselves to do higher studies in PhD in IITs or NITs, a student cannot be admitted directly into NIT or IIT. But if he does a MTech program in geoinformatics with a specialization in surveying and remote sensing and GIS, he has got more chances to be likely to be absorbed as a PhD scholar in the premier institution. Because if you go on those institutions, they've got all the orthodox course and they're experts. But in each and every civil department, or you go to geography department or geology department, if you're talking of geography, none of the geographer right now can think about without remote sensing, because the terrain, the landforms, the whether it's fluvial, alluvial, aeolian, all the landforms has to be mapped using satellite remote sensing technique. All the geological structures, whether that is lineament, rock types, we have got different identifiers. We identify those in the satellite images. So the technique, the era, whether we are talking about a geographer, if a person do a degree in BSc geography or MSc geography, I hardly thinks that apart from that he has got no future in that. Only thing is can do plan for administrative services, but there is limited number of seats against that. So what to do next? Whether he'll be unemployed. So what my suggestion for all those candidates is, instead of doing some orthodox degree, do some professional degree, and parallelly you work for various kind of competitive examinations, so that in case if you're not able to qualify in those sectors, at least you have a secondary backup where you can take directly or indirectly this as a career, and you won't be unemployed, because each and every person cannot get a government job. So this subjects provides you job in TCS, Wipro, Accenture. Each and every division they have got a different geospatial domain. They have got a different geospatial division. So if you are good in programming, you can get yourself absorbed as a developer in these organizations. Apart from that, we take our students to various field excursion tour, where the satellite signatures, how the field data are seen on on a map, then on a topographical sheets, then how you have to identify yourself on the field, how to you have to convert the field data into the map data. All the things are being trained to the students with our campus having total Wi-Fi capability, and the uh, library is open till 9 o'clock. We are very good in research too. And I'll take now on the career prospects and their placements. Now finally I'll come to the placements. Now if you're trying two kinds of placements you can have after doing any kinds of remote sensing degree, after BTech, MTech and PhD. Either you can go for research or you can go for IT sectors. For IT sectors, the big companies like Reliance, Adani, TCS, Wipro, Accenture, they have got geospatial division, where the salary structures, if you're very good in programming, you have good sound skill in Python, the salary, starting salary can be 70 to 80,000 rupees per month, and you convert that into annual income. In the same way, if I compare my students who passed from my university, the salary that my master students got for 35,000, and that is a big amount. After if you compare that with any of the master program from the orthodox, whether you compare the yourself with physics, chemistry, biology, they won't get 35,000 rupees. In the same way for our amtech program also, the students all are placed, 100% placements is there, and the students are getting 9 to 10 lakh per annum. So that is near about 70 to 80,000 rupees after amtech. So a person who is waiting, or who's taking waiting to take any opportunity from various engineering domain, I suggest them to please do amtech geoinformatics. And once you do that, that is the most deadly combination that uh, engineer can have. And then you can parallelly go for higher studies in abroad. That is, in if you want to go for any higher studies, you can go for, you can apply for Commonwealth Fellow, you can apply for Erasmus Fellow. And in my subject, GRE and MAT is not required. You can directly apply. Only one recommendation letter is required from a foreign professor with a project proposal. And if it fit well to the professor who is providing you, you will be taken into the PhD program. Apart from that, you can apply for Fulbright scholarship too. And these are all the scholarship that I have told about foreign country. Now, if you compare yourself for the Indian context, the salary of JRF, SRF has increased now. 30 to 35,000 are being paid to the JRF, SRF, and for RA it's near about 45,000. So that is a good amount of post MSc and AmTech, and you can be absorbed as a project scientist, as a GIS expert, as a GIS engineer in various IT sectors. In the managerial posts you can go. Apart from that, you can join as a scientist. There are various vacancies coming up in ISRO for the scientist C, B, D positions, where the knowledge of remote sensing and GIS is prerequisite for those vacancy. So in case you're doing the masters or the BTech program in geoinformatics, I can see the future scientist of India who will be pursuing The course is from Suresh Gyan Vihar University, Jaipur, Rajasthan. Apart from that, you can take your career in crop insurance company, like the government of India has made compulsory. So there is the Tata different concept, yeah, private banking sectors are taking GS expert for those kinds of crop analysis. You can go for agriculture sectors. You have got openings in urban department. You have got openings in agriculture department. You have got openings in water department, urban department. So whatever comes to your mind, all the disciplines you will be finding, and all the things what I am saying can be verified using Google. So generally a person who read in a particular domain is restricted to a particular field, but a person who does a master's in geoinformatics, he can apply in various disciplines. So the chances of employability is very high, plus it has got a software skill, so he won't be unemployed throughout his life. And that is what the government of India wants, the digital India, the smart India. So if you have got a smart technique and you're equipped yourself with a smart technology, you will get a job 100%. So the USP for my university is continuous learning, industry mentors, good faculty members, good research team, the good infrastructure. That's all I would like to bring to your notice. With this, I'll try to summarize all the aspect. In case something I've left, you please put your questions in your chat box. I'll be taking some of the questions of the chat box for, and rest I'll be answering it in their personal chat. Thanks for watching me, and I'll be taking the question now. So the first question is there any application of GIS in power sectors? I've already said all the power, whether that is electrification, where there is a oil pipe, gas line connection, all those connections, the terrain suitability. The previously we used to dig uh, muds along the roads, but right now you see that there is a machinery coming up, and each and every one is geo-lagged with a geo server. So in case there is a fault, so we didn't have to dig the entire area. We know the exact area where is the fault. We can directly dig that area and we can rectify at that point of time. So the entire Reliance cabling, what they have done for geo, was based on remote sensing and GIS technology. So this field is readily used in power sectors too. So the persons who are from electronics, electricals, and mechanical engineering can take this career and have enormous career opportunity in power sectors. There is another sector is, can we use this data to receive images from disputed area between India and China in present scenario? Yes, we have got the data sets, what the Pakistanis are doing, what the Chinese are doing, but they are restricted in domain. They are for military purposes. They are strictly prohibited. So that cannot be come into public domain. For public domain, you have got different side. You have got USGS, GLCF, from which we can download the satellite data sets, but they are of course a resolution and they are not up to date, because and if you are talking about identifying of bunkers, that is a very minute information. So there the we generally the satellite data, we are talking about four kinds of resolution, that is spatial resolution, spectral, temporal, and radiometric. So right now, what we are talking about, India and Pakistan is talking about a spatial resolution. So for that, we need a very high resolution satellite data, and the data sets that are free of cost are not up to date. So that can be of 19 to 2019, 2020, but we cannot have of today, and we cannot identify those structures because of their poor spatial resolution. So yeah, we have the data sets, but we have the licensee, but we cannot disclose it. So is there lots of encroachment in the defense law? How can it be very observed? We can do the, we know where is our boundary. We know where are their boundary. We convert those layers into our special domain, just like government of India. If you want, if many of the students who are from Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, Rajasthan, the government has converted the entire secondary data khasra maps into digital records. So converted that information, all the land records has are on the web GIS platform. So you can go to your space information sites and you can identify all those information related to your each and every parcels of land can be identified and can be mapped, and you can see those structures easily. So if you are mapping and we are there is another, there are most of the questions which are coming from defense. Yeah, we are very prepared for each and everything, and we assure you that our satellite mission is one of the best in the world. We are totally prepared. Our entire defense system is prepared with our own satellites are prepared. And in the coming era, right now we are, I'll add to that information that India has launched its own GPS satellites, that is IRNSS, Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System. Because what has happened when we had a war with the Pakistanis during that Bajpayee region, US denied us the latitude and longitude, the exact location of those Pakistanis. So at that point of time, our Prime Minister thought that for any kind of victory, your positional importance and location is very important, whether that is into a navigation system, whether it is into submarines. If you talk about aeroplane, each and every day that are being used the GPS technology, if there will be a error of I say 100 meters on my map, that will be 1,000 kilometers on it on the ground. So the person who is driving here will be opening up in your home. So that is the kind of accuracy that is required, and with the introduction of our own the regional navigation satellite system, we will be very dependent in our own navigation satellite system, and we won't be dependent on the Americans, because they they have got two types of codes. One is for civilian codes, other one is for military codes. So generally they do some kinds of mischievous activity in order to reduce the accuracy of the position. So with our own navigation system, such kind of error will be reduced, and in coming days we are will be more advantage and will be having more spatial accuracy. With this, most probably I have compared, I have taken most of the question from most of the student. Still, if any unanswered, I'll be personally giving you in personal chat box. So please take admissions in Gyan Vihar, because this is one of the best private university in Rajasthan with NAC A accreditation. We have got all our courses affiliated from various government recognition like AICTE, NBA, PCI, NCTE. All the affiliation which is required for various courses has been taken. So I assure you, as a candidate, as a teacher, as a faculty member, as a guru, that you will be to the correct place if you want to have a real-time experience in the remote sensing and GIS technology, and you will never be scared of studies. You will enjoy and will make you a big researcher and a king in near future. With that all, I conclude my presentation. Have a good day. Stay safe. Be at home. Bye bye.